And so the objective, we have good friends who tell us what we have to do in order to deal with the system. We have some people who are progressives who talk to the oppressed about how we have to deal with the question and reality of oppression and education. And the progressives tell us that in order to do well within that the education is something that should allow us to do well within the existing system, existing social system. That we must find ways to integrate ourselves into the system. And that if the system fails to integrate us into itself, then that is the definition of oppression. That the system won't allow us to come in and participate with it. Then there are those others who deal with the question of who we consider backwards and conservative when we talk about them. And they are those who tell us that we should just shut up and go along with things as they are. But it seems to me that what we have is a social system that's based on our oppression. And that attempting to integrate into that system is not a solution for us at all. That as teachers, as educators, as students, that we have to join in a movement that will overturn a social system that has no redeeming values. This is the way that we recapture our own humanity, because the nature of the social system itself requires us to forever be slaves and offers us the illusion of freedom by joining the system itself. That is the significance of Obama. But Obama, yes, you can join. The thing is that the system allows any of us to join as an individual. It is the people, the group of us, that it will not allow to have success. And so Obama succeeds by becoming an un-African, an un-black person. His black face is important to them because what is clear, and the people of Iraq have helped to show this, is that it is no longer possible to control the people only by the gun. That masses of people around the world are demanding freedom, and they are taking their freedom back for themselves. It is the reality of an Hugo Chavez. It is the reality of an Evo Morales. It is the reality of oppressed peoples around the world, in Iraq, in Palestine, in every place else. It is the reality of growing competition within the imperialist camp from non-white people like China and India. It is this reality that makes it necessary for them to come up with another game plan. The gun won't do it alone. And so now their objective is to seduce the masses of people around the world. In the past, the whole oppression of the people has been associated with white skin. It ain't white now. It is white power in a black face. We refer to it as neo-colonialism. It is white power in a black face. That is what Obama represents in the world. We're living at a critical time. The thing that makes this conference so significant is because as in such time of crisis, where the system clearly isn't working for all of us. I mean, they're shoveling out tons and tons of money to the corporations and what have you, but it clearly is not working for all of us. Where America itself is defining, pundits are defining this thing as empire in decline. Where people will look for other kinds of solutions. People are open to ideas now. That's the significance of being here now. People can hear what they couldn't have heard years before. Union del Barrio has been pushing this line now for how many years? Union del Barrio has been talking about this for years and years and years. But now people can hear, are increasingly able to hear, because the system clearly is revealing itself as something that doesn't work, so people are open to other kinds of ideas. You see, that is the significance. That's the significance of Obama. So that here we have a situation where people should be flocking to the revolution, should be flocking to the African People's Socialist Party, should be flocking to the Uhuru movement. And Obama is the Pied Piper that takes them back into the safe embrace of the Democratic Party. And of course, he talks about change. And why does he talk about change? Because it's happening everywhere. You see change happening all over the world. You see, Compa here mentioned Samuel Huntington, who is was one of the thinking representatives of the ruling class in this country. Not just Huntington, there are others, Brzezinski and others who have been alluding to this crisis that we are talking about now for some time. And Obama represents their solution. So instead of running toward revolution, run toward the Democratic Party. Democratic Party is not a revolutionary organization. Never has been, never will be. Never has been, never will be. So we have to create our own power. And the reality is that the first education we got in this country was from ideological warriors who sometimes call themselves priests. They were accompanied by gunmen and what have you, who required us to conform to their ideas of reality as a condition for our success. You know, I'd like to think of Michael Jackson, I'm going to say more than that, as a poster child for what the education of this system can do to us. And he's just an extreme, because you know what I'm talking about in the Mexican community as well. But where it's not even enough to be extraordinarily talented and to be rich, but you also got to be white. And so here you have this talented, wealthy, was at one time anyway, young person who, in order to experience success for himself, and it was an ongoing, never-ending process, right, had to mutilate himself to the extent that he doesn't even look like an African anymore. He looks like a very sick white woman. Right? And the system does that to us. It engages us in ideological warfare, and we've been unarmed for most of the warfare that's been occurring against us. And so we find ourselves all the time looking for ways to be approved, to be accepted. And the reality is that for them, for the system, for the imperialists, education for them, educating us is a civilizing mission. It is a civilizing mission. The whiter you are, the more civilized you are. And instinctively, the youngsters know that, and they refuse to cooperate. They don't have the ideology, they don't have the organization yet. That's why this is so important. But that's why they wear their pants sagging. They refuse to conform to the system itself. That's why they wear their hat on the side. They refuse to be what it is that the system requires of them. It is a form of resistance. It is a form of resistance saying that we're not going down that path. Of course, our responsibility is to take revolutionary ideology to them, to take an understanding of this reality that we live with and why it is that they are oppressed. To allow them to participate, that's our responsibility, to take it to them. So, as educators, it seems to me, we have to massify this whole question of education, to make it a process that the masses themselves are involved in. To stop seeing, as the system would have us to see, the people who are being taught, and that's just not in the school system, as receptacles, empty vessels, into which we pour all the knowledge that they need, which eliminates any significance that they bring to the question. So you don't know anything. I don't know how many people in this room have ever had the experience. I have. Going to school and being taught to be ashamed of my mama and being ashamed of my grandmother and what have you, because they didn't talk right. And they didn't dress like the white folks dress, and like what those who were civilizing me taught me we were supposed to be alike.